hate to break it to you, broski, but you are about to build the business of your nightmares. If you're struggling to break past consistent 20K months and you hate the idea of sending 100 cold DMs per day to strangers, and you're creating content but it's not getting you clients,
gang gang, gang gang,
well then I have good news for you, dude. You're in the right place. Give me a couple of minutes of your time and I'm gonna show you exactly how you can break past those problems. If you implement what I'm gonna teach you in this video, you'll wake up to DMs from strangers saying, how do I pay you? How do I know this? Because these are the messages that I and my clients get on a regular basis. If you're new here, my name is Ollie Carson, and in 2023, I built that business of my nightmares. I fucking hated it. I was making about $70,000 per month. I moved my family out to Dubai. I had team members. I was driving around in a Lamborghini, but I hated my life. You see, all of the business advice that I'd taken up until that point was always centered around the same thing. Do more. More ads, more offers, more complicated processes, more team members, and ultimately I just ended up with more stress, more headaches, putting out more fires. I think back to this really specific moment in June 2023 when myself, my heavily pregnant wife and my daughter were living in this beautiful apartment in Dubai, and when Kat, my wife, needed me the most because she was 1,000 miles away from her friends and her support network back in the UK, I wasn't available to be there for her. I was on sales calls, I was dealing with client issues, I was managing the team. I'd literally built a business that stripped me of the one thing that I valued most, which was spending time with the people that I love. Something had to change because ultimately I had built my business unintentionally. It wasn't what I wanted anymore. Fast forward to today and I'm building a $1 million consulting and coaching company that gives me much more of what I want. I'm not doing cold outreach. I don't have to have loads of team members. I have bigger profit margins and I can actually do the shit that I want to do with the people I want to do it with. Not only that, I'm helping other people do it too. Like Ben and Ethan, who've just signed up their first high-ticket $1,000 plus coaching clients in just a few days from working with me. Or Tom, who has literally just launched his brand new online coaching business and in just a few weeks has managed to sign up his first 6 high-paying clients. You've probably noticed this, right? More and more people are turning their passions into profits. If you're into fitness or perhaps you're in shape, shit, you can make money showing other people how to do the same things as you. The problem is, in years gone by, the barrier to creating content was much higher. I've been making videos for over 10 years now. And when I first started putting content out, people looked at me and thought that I was weird. These days, every man and his frickin' dog is making video content. What that then means is that getting your message seen and having people wanting to work with you is becoming increasingly more difficult. Well, let me introduce you to the Client Ecosystem.
You want to use organic to feed the paid engine.
I take short form content and I turn them into growth tax ads. This gives me daily opportunities to speak with perfect future clients.
So it's a great way for you to test hooks and for you to test messaging and then finding out what works organically and then turning that into an ad and then amplifying it.
A 10-minute YouTube isn't 20 times better than a TikTok. It's 200 times better. Because what you did was you created tension. And in that tension, in that discomfort, someone grew. You didn't have the chance to do that in TikTok. You're just entertaining in a carnival.
This is how I'm generating perfect fit leads every single day and moving them through my carefully curated ecosystem that speeds up the time in which it takes someone to become an audience member to a paying client. But before I explain how it all works, let me give you some context. I spent 10 years in the British Army as a para-trained physical training instructor and I got in pretty decent nick. I loved fizz and beasting myself in the gym, so it made sense that when I left the military, I became a PT. I started making content, I got sponsored by Grenade, and I started filling my PT diary with clients who paid me £1,000 plus for in-person coaching packages. After competing in a fitness model competition, which is fucking cringe, I started generating more and more interest for people who wanted to work with me remotely. And this was where everything started to change. By this point, I'd left the first gym that I started working at and opened my own private facility where I could train clients in a studio. I soon realized that people were willing to pay me the same amount of money that they were paying me for my in-person blocks, and I could coach them online, which meant I didn't have to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and it took me a fraction of the time to serve those clients. And not only that, I actually ended up getting better results with my online clients than I did my in-person clients. Fast forward a few years and my online fitness business, Condition, was making about 20,000 quid a month, and I could work when I want, from where I want. So I thought I had cracked the code. Eventually I decided to close down that business because I'd started a second coaching and consulting business called Supercharged Fit Pro, which was making more money and was taking more of my time and attention. I built that bad boy to $70,000 months, and this is where shit started going really wrong for me. I had 6 team members, multiple offers, complex strategies, and the thing was giving me more stress than anything else. Constant stress and huge running costs literally had me dreading opening up my laptop every single morning. The market became more and more skeptical. It became harder to acquire clients and to convert them because more and more people were making bold claims, more and more people were making content online, and I got to a point where I questioned every single decision that I was making. I desperately needed a way to reduce my running costs, spend more time with my family, and build trust and authority with my audience so that we could convert them into clients. And this is where everything changed for me, because I started running what we now know as the Client Ecosystem. I take short form content and I turn them into growth tax ads. This gives me daily opportunities to speak with perfect future clients. And then I use something that I've called the chats to cash process, which enables me to identify people who are ready to buy right now and push those who aren't deeper into our ecosystem so that they can be nurtured. I then use long form content, videos and podcasts just like this, and micro offers to speed up the time it takes to turn that person who's ready to buy in the future to be ready to buy right now. So in order for you to hit 20K months consistently the right way, without the stress, without huge team members, and without complicated systems and funnels, you're gonna need 3 things. Number 1 is your Entice system. This is a simple and scalable ad and content strategy that brings you new opportunities on a daily basis. Second thing that you need is your enrollment system. This is a means of accelerating the process of building enough trust and authority with your audience so that they put their hand up and inquire about working with you. Remember that the leap of faith that your prospects have to take to go from consuming your free content to booking in a sales call with you is pretty damn big. This is where your micro offers come in. They basically enable you to show how good you are at what you do at a fraction of the cost, thus reducing the leap of faith that your prospects have to take in the first place. The third and final thing that you need is your Empower system. This is essentially your client delivery. How do you deliver your service and your offer so that you have a scalable business that gives you the freedom that you desperately deserve, makes you the money that you want to make, and also delivers the results to your clients so they stay with you for longer and shout your name from the rooftops?
An American businessman goes on holiday to Mexico. He gets taken out fishing by a local Mexican. And he asks the Mexican how he spends his time. The Mexican says, I fish a little on the morning, I catch enough for my family, we go back, we cook, we laugh around the fire, and I spend time with my children. And the American businessman goes, that's stupid. Here's a better idea. What you should do is actually spend most of your day fishing, and then with the surplus fish, you could sell them at the market. And the Mexican fisherman says, and why would I do that? So, well, once you've got the additional money, you could start to employ some of your friends, and they could come out fishing with you too, and you could catch more fish, which you could sell at the market for more money. He said, why would I do that? He says, well, once you've done that, you would be able to incorporate in America, and you would maybe be able to start a canning factory so that you could own the entire production process, and you could then sell the company for a lot of money. I said, and why would I do that? He said, because once you've done that, you'd be able to fish a little on a morning and then go back and spend time with your children around the fire.
Very good.
And I often think about that as a much more direct route to happiness.
So now you know what the client ecosystem is, and you know the 3 key steps that you need to build a 20K per month coaching business that offers you fun, freedom, and finances. You might be wondering, Ollie, how do I even go about doing this? Where should I be posting content? How do I run these growth tax ads? What is a micro offer? What is an irresistible high ticket offer? And this is exactly why I have launched Remote Pro. It's to help ambitious, impact-led coaches just like you get to 20K consistent months without cold DMs, without complicated ad strategies, and frankly, without building a business that fucking sucks. In Remote Pro, we help coaches install the key elements into their own businesses. Number one, the growth tax ads, the most cost-effective and scalable way to get your message in front of perfect future clients. What's key at this point is how you connect with your new followers off the back of your growth tax ads so that you can either A, move them directly into your sales process and sign them up as a high-ticket client, or B, push them further into your ecosystem so that you can speed up the time that it takes to nurture them. To do this, the Remote Pros use the chats to cash system. And it's how every single day I quickly identify those leads and those audience members who are ready to pay me big bucks right now. The second thing Remote Pro installs is the Authority Accelerator. What you have to keep in mind is that at any given point, you have three types of people consuming your content. First, you have never buyers. These people, maybe they just don't jam with you, perhaps they don't have a need or a want for your service, but they are never gonna buy your shit. And quite frankly, fuck those guys. The second type of person is a future buyer. These people like your style, they could or would buy your services, but they're just not quite there yet. They need nurturing, they need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you a little bit more before they pull the trigger and put their hand up and inquire about working with you. And third and finally, my favorite dudes of all is the now buyers. These legends just need the right prompt and they're in your DM saying, how do I sign up? The Authority Accelerator is essentially the way in which we speed up the time it takes to turn your future buyers into now buyers. And we do this with a combination of long form content and micro offers. Now you might be thinking, Ollie, this is all very cool, but why the fuck have you called it an ecosystem? Because once you're in, you're trapped and you can't get out. No, of course, I'm joking. But essentially, unlike traditional funnel models where you are essentially paying for a lead to enter at the top of your funnel, and if they don't convert at the bottom of the funnel by watching your webinar or your shit VSL, then you've essentially wasted that money. In the client ecosystem approach, once somebody comes in, they stay in your ecosystem through email marketing and your school community, which means that you can sell to them in the future. Now, if this all sounds gravy and it sounds like something that you're interested in, then the question has probably crossed your mind, Ollie, how do I get my hands on this stuff? And honestly, I've made it as simple as I possibly can. You join our case study cohort of legendary coaches who want to be remote pros. And if you resonate with the identity of a now buyer, then you might be thinking, cut the bullshit, what's my next step? And if that's you, just DM me the word 9 on Instagram. I'll leave my link below in the description and I can get you all the juicy details. Did you feel that? Did things just get a little bit uncomfortable? It might even feel like shit's starting to get a little bit real. That, my friend, is the feeling of fear tapping you on the shoulder and telling you to stay in the safe, comfortable place. Because quite often the fear of making change is enough to keep you paralyzed. But I want to leave you with a question. What is the price of not making a change? What is the cost of staying exactly where you are right now? Because remember, if nothing changes, nothing changes. I've made the biggest leaps both personally and professionally when I've made stretch investments into myself. Taking the first step couldn't be easier. Although it's daunting, just drop me a DM with the word 9 on Instagram and let's see if we're fit to work together.